Does canned food even expire?
Yeah.
Why? How?
That's how you get botulism, is bad canned food. Yeah, you can't go around.
Well, I didn't have enough money to...
I think that a dented can of beans like once killed a whole town or something.
What dented is totally different.
Oh man, my neck is hurting trying to get in this.
You want to switch?
No, I'm good. You wouldn't want to sit in this chair after I've been running around and sweating. And...
Lucky number 13. Or unlucky.
This might be the first episode that we've recorded. Actually, I'm pretty sure it is, since Red Dead Redemption 2 has come out. How has that treated you, Daniel?
Man, do I have stuff to say about Red Dead 2. It is... Man, I'm in... I don't even know what percentage. It's got to be like 6 or 7% done, thereabouts. And
so you've been playing for about 30 hours?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. No, it's probably been, honestly, like 12 hours, maybe 8 or 12.
Really?
I haven't like gone to town. Well, like unless you can. All right. So anyway, I seriously do have a lot to say about this freaking game. Controls. Everyone brings up the controls first. They're weird, and
yeah, they're weird.
Even the friggin' pros screw up. Also, somewhat related, just like the movement mechanics, like your whole body has to like swing around to turn a little bit, and like so you can't just like nudge it. You have to like wait for him to pick up his leg and actually turn, and it's just like real clunky, which I'm sure some people like that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, I think, like feel authentic. I don't know if realistic's the word, because I don't know how realistic that game is, but you know, you're not supposed to feel like you're Spider-Man or something while you're the movement is very deliberate.
Yeah. Another reason you all have to watch the video.
Yeah, you gotta watch the video to see what I was holding up there.
Yeah, so there's the controls. Oh man, the cinematics with the cutscenes and all that. It's like interesting for a while.
Yeah.
But then it's just like literally like a solid, oh man, it's gotta be like 4 to 5 minutes of just like wagging through the mountains.
Yeah.
And like every 30 seconds you're like, okay, it's gotta be about done. And then you just sit and wait. And then you're like, all right, now it's done now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that part when you're first leaving the snowy mountains and getting to town, that was very weird to make you just slowly creep along as you sit on the wagon and listen to dialogue. I mean, they're just going for immersion.
Yeah, I mean, I know they must, like, they're not idiots. They had plenty of reasons. It just, and they wanted it to be unique. They wanted people to be talking about it just like we are now. Like, they wanted to be, like, off the wall, like, we're going for this. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be unique and fairly realistic. So I totally get all that, and props to them for trying it. But still, it's just, for me, it just didn't pan out. Like, it's pan out like the camera does.
The camera is not pan. If the camera panned out here, I wouldn't have to injure my neck.
I was talking about during those cutscenes.
Oh.
But it just didn't do it for me. Like, I still want to pick up the game again when I have time, but when my time is limited, it's a pretty low priority for me for those kind of reasons.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we went to town on, well, I don't know, really the only game that I've played with you is Battlefield 1. I know you played Fortnite for a while. Yeah.
I mean, a while as in like maybe 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like probably more like 2. And then like one or two more times, you know, a month or 2 later.
Yeah.
I did pick it up though. Just to like again, super brief. Like I played like 3-5 rounds the other. We've been experimenting with Twitch.
Well, we played over Christmas, didn't?
Yeah, Rocket League. No.
Fortnite.
Oh, we played Fortnite. That's true too.
Yeah, because we both had a Switch and we were squadding up.
Yeah, like once. It's Fortnite. I mean,
oh no, you might have been on the. No, yeah, you were on the Switch, and I was on the Switch.
everything,
But we were in the same room.
right? True. Which is fun for sure. Everything that there is to be said about Fortnite, I feel like has already been said. Like, it's a sensation. Obviously, it is really hard. Obviously, but the graphics are, kind of kiddie, and kids can figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, that's.
No, it's fun for kids to run around, and if they don't want to get killed, it's kind of easy to avoid other people at first. So you just you don't have to get manhandled. You can kind of get used to the controls and just enjoy running around a little bit and exploring the world. Whereas something like Call of Duty, you're not really in there to look at the scenery.
Man, real Call of Duty fans are Call of Duty fans. No. When I say real, I mean like, how do I put this? People who genuinely care about the game for more than just like run and gun, like shred noobs. People that like genuinely care about the game care about it because of the campaign. For me, campaign, what?
I mean,
not every campaign, but some of them, like
the newest Call of Duty didn't even come with a campaign.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. Like it's run and gun, shred the frickin' noobs for most people. But the people there are a lot of people that, maybe that's all I'm saying. Maybe not the majority, but there are a lot of people that really love the Call of Duty campaigns. That's all I was trying to say.
Yeah, some of them are pretty good. What one did I just get done playing? I think I just played the World War II campaign. I just played the Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4 campaign. Played some other campaigns. I was campaigning all over the place. Lots of campaigns. How's your Switch treating you?
Pretty good. It's easier to just pick up if you have 20 free minutes. It is 10 times easier to pick up and play something than the PS4.
Yeah.
With Mario Kart, that Tumblestone is just an arcade game we've been playing. And Mario Party takes forever. I don't know how that game ever took off. Because what kind of kid, I guess kids have nothing but time, but still, like, it just drags on. And it's fun. I love it and whatever. Yeah. But I don't get, like, how their attention span lasts that long.
I really, really like long video games. And I don't mean, like, super long, like, campaigns. I mean, like, single games. I like them to go a long time. Like, when I play a sports game, I set the quarters or the halves at way longer than most people do. Like,
why? Why do you want longer? Just because you want to
because
play longer?
I feel like it, like, thinking and strategy is part of the fun for me. So, like, in Mario Party, the longer it takes, like, the more time you have to plot, and you can change your plan. Like, I'm going to go for the star.
Yeah. If there's only like 5 rounds, like, somebody finds a star and then somebody gets a bonus star and they won. If there's like 25 rounds, you're right. There's way less luck because somebody can get ahead by like 6 stars. Yeah. And then the luck at the end doesn't matter.
But I'm not even necessarily talking about luck. I'm just talking about, like, the strategy. Like,
yeah.
Any of the time we've ever played NASCAR, I always like to do the longer races because I love NASCAR. I don't know if I've ever said that before. But I also love the NASCAR video games, and Dan has played with me sometimes, and I'll always set it. I mean, NASCAR race can take like 3 or 4 hours, but I'll always set it so that it's like 25% mileage or something, so that like one race will take an hour. and then I'll turn the tire wear and fuel consumption all the way up to 4x. So you have to pit as many times as you would in a regular NASCAR race. And I just feel like part of the fun for me is getting to do the strategy. Like, do I want to pit now and be on fresher tires sooner? Or do I want to pit later and potentially have to take less pit stops overall? You know, and I'm doing the math in my head. Like, what is better? Is the time I'm going to spend going down pit lane? Like, how many laps would it take for me to make that up once I had my fresh tires and stuff like that? And it's not quite as intense as in Mario Party, but you know, when you do 5 turns, it still takes like a decent amount of time, but it's like you just dash straight for the star, and whoever gets 1 or 2, okay, and then maybe you'll get 1 or 2 bonus stars at the end. But if you're doing like 10 or 15 turns, I feel like there's a little bit more substance to a strategy that involves taking other paths. You know, maybe I'm going to collect coins first. Maybe I really don't want to land on a red square because that would put me down under 30 coins, and I want to be able to get to Lakitu and steal a star from someone else. Whereas like if it's only 5 turns, like everyone's just going straight for the star every turn, and that's what dictates your whole strategy. Yeah,
no, I totally agree with that. Like that makes the game way better.
But it still is it takes longer than it probably should.
Which for me, that's the question, and it depends on the day. You know, every day I'm going to have a different answer to whether I'm able to spend 2 hours playing a Mario board game versus, what do I want? Do I want luck involved today, or do I want to really be able to strategize and destroy my wife at this game? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So every day my answer is going to change, and the only way you can kind of gauge what type of games you like better, or what specific games you like better, is to say, on average, which one do I pick more often? Which one do I want more often? Which one do I lean towards? And if you ask me that about Mario Party, I would say I lean pretty far away from it, unless I'm with...
You lean away from Mario Party?
Right, because it's so long and there's so much luck involved. Unless I'm in the same room with like 6 or 8 of my friends, then it's just hilarious. It's just fun.
Yeah, I would agree with that, except for if I was in the same room and there was 3 or less of my friends. Because if you get to 6 or 8, nobody wants to really sit and watch the whole time. And
true.
And then you're passing the controller and you end up being a different character, so nobody's really invested and nobody really cares what happens. So then you end up with like someone's eating a bag of potato chips and their controller's on the ground as a mini game's going, and they're your teammates. And
that's fair. Yeah, maybe like 4 would be the sweet spot then.
So every person has a controller?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I haven't played it enough to know that for sure, but that sounds like a sweet spot if you ask me.
Very sweet spot.
For NASCAR, it's a little different. The days I'm going to lean towards NASCAR, which...
As opposed to what? Like, what are you leaning...
I'm just explaining what sort of factors will make me choose a given game on a given day.
Oh, okay. All right.
Whoa, geez, what?
No, I just didn't really, because like usually if somebody says that you're leaning one way or the other, it's like an A or B question.
Right. Oh yeah.
So I didn't know like what you were comparing NASCAR to. You're like, usually I'm leaning toward NASCAR.
No. I didn't say usually I was leaning towards NASCAR. I was about to tell you on a given day what factors would make me lean towards NASCAR. I didn't even finish my sentence. Jeez, calm down.
I just thought you were using leaning toward quite a bit.
Well,
that's all I was saying.
Lean, yeah, whatever. Don't worry about the lean. Just, it's fine. I'm going to lean towards NASCAR. If, like you said, a NASCAR game with you is at least 40 minutes. And we spent plenty of nights playing 3 or 4 rounds of NASCAR.
I mean, I don't know if I could ever get you 3 or 4. I spent plenty of nights playing 3 or 4 40-minute races.
True. But still, what all I'm saying is the thing that's going to make me go for NASCAR is if I have nothing to do, nothing pressing, nothing to work on, no episodes to edit or whatever, a good smoke, and just like I don't have to worry about waking up in the morning is even better, that kind of stuff. Like if I got plenty of time and nothing to worry about, then I will choose probably NASCAR. I guess Mario Party also takes a long time, but if I had tons of free time, I think I would pick NASCAR still. And no, if
you think that NASCAR is a better game?
Actually,
NASCAR Heat is a better game than Mario Party.
No. I figured it out. It depends how many friends. Like I said, how many friends there are. If I've got 3 friends over, Mario Party every time. If it's just me and you, NASCAR every time.
Yeah, I can't imagine that there are very many people out there besides me that you would end up alone with playing NASCAR.
Yeah, there's none. Well, what other games you been into?
Well, I just got Super Mario Brothers Deluxe.
Hold on. That reminds me.
Yep.
Smash just came out, right?
I've never been interested in it.
Because what? It's too short? Not enough strategy?
I've never really liked fighting games.
You're the one always trying to get me to play friggin' Street Fighter. And wrestling.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, pretty often.
When have we ever played Street Fighter?
You have like Street Fighter on your Switch.
Yeah, I have Street Fighter on my Switch because when the Switch first came out, this is the same reason I ended up with 1-2 Switch. When the Switch first came out, the only good game for it was Zelda. I mean, there were some good novelty, I guess, games like Snipper Clips and there was a different racing one like Fast RX or something.
Oh, yeah, we played a tiny bit of that.
Yeah. But like as far as like a game that you're actually like thinking when you think about investing time in video games, Zelda was really the only thing that was out when the Switch came out. And I've just never been the biggest Zelda fan. As much as I love the Super Nintendo, I've never beaten Link to the Past. And I've started it probably like 5 or 10 different times between my childhood, then when I grew up and bought my own copy of it, and then when the SNES Classic came out, I used to work as a night security guard, and I would sit in my booth and play that on my computer and never beat it. I don't think I've ever talked on the show about how I was a night security guard.
That would have been perfect time to break in, right?
Kind of, but it was like the only way in, and there was a gate that I had to press a button to. So it was at this place called Lilydale, which is the largest spiritualist community in the world, and it's in Western New York.
Do you live there? Did you live there?
I lived in Western New York.
Did you live in the spiritualist community?
No. Okay. I had to drive there every night to be there for my midnight shift to be a night security guard.
Why would they hire people that weren't part of their community?
Probably because no one else wanted to do it. Because it was minimum wage, and it was 6 hours.
You've had more jobs. Like every time you're like, oh, I was a radio host, sports announcer, friggin' dishwasher, wine pourer.
I was never a dishwasher. I was a waiter.
Yeah, like and then security guard. Like your list of jobs never ceases to amaze me.
Holy cow! If I could, I mean, I didn't just have like some farm to work on every day. My first ever job was working at McDonald's.
McDonald's, yeah. There's that
so
too.
I worked at McDonald's. After that, I worked at a tree service company.
This is what I mean. What the heck? Who works for tree service?
And my first day at the tree service company, I got like a branch stuck in the wood chipper.
Oh, did you want to work there just to kind of branch out and learn other things?
Yeah. Well, I almost ended up freaking all over the place, dude. I really would have. because I like reach into the wood chipper to grab a branch that was stuck in there. And this is like industrial strength. Like it would have killed me instantly. And they had to like shut down the whole wood chipper because somebody saw me reaching in there and they like sprinted over and hit the emergency shut off button. I worked at an ice cream parlor.
Yeah. Never heard that one either.
Where I scoop people's ice cream.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
I was a waiter. I was a radio. I commentated sporting events. I operated the radio board for Buffalo Bills football broadcasts. I like put in commercials and everything. None of these are like glamorous or cool. I had them all for probably like a few months each. I was a pizza delivery guy. I did PA announcements at college and high school basketball games.
I don't want to, I try not to spill too much personal stuff on the airwaves here.
I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, you can look up Lilydale, New York on Google Maps and you'll have an idea of where I lived within 40 minutes.
No,
they know your name.
Yeah, you're right. They could figure out anything they wanted. All I was going to say is, I've only known you for one job where we worked together. But even there, which is a fast-paced place and people switch roles fairly often, but even there, I've seen you go through like 12 different roles. Maybe not 12, like 3 or 4.
12's a lot. I mean, yeah, I've done 3 different things in the last year. I mean, you can't hold me down, you know? I'm
not blaming you. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Bean. I'm just saying it. You get around.
Oh, I was a flagger. I worked for National Grid. I stood in the road and directed traffic.
That one too. Yeah.
You talk about something. I want to think.
Oh yeah. Well, so I was finally I get to say something. I was all the way back at frickin' Zelda trying to think about like.
Oh yeah, so Zelda was the only game out. I didn't like it, so I bought Street Fighter so I'd have something else to play because it was one of the only other things out, and it was another game I didn't really like, and I've probably played it less than 5 hours ever. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the number of games that you've bought that you don't like is pretty high. The number of games that you've convinced me to buy that I don't like is like 10 times as many as the number of games that I've ever liked. But still, speaking of Zelda, I was just thinking through, like, I'm also not a huge fan of Zelda. Now, probably that the main reason for that is because I didn't grow up on Nintendo at all. I didn't own any video games until the Wii. And then I guess that kind of got me into shooters.
Yeah.
And those were what I leaned towards. I do like a good RPG. Like before I owned the Wii, because I didn't have a system, I played my fair share of RuneScape. I got up to like fishing level 87 on freemium.
I downloaded, it's now an app called Old School RuneScape. I downloaded it and I remembered my username and login. And like I successfully logged in without having to start a new account, and it had me back at the tutorial island. I was very fired up.
Old School, I don't think Old School is what most people played. There was one called RuneScape Classic, and then the one that most people played was technically, I think, RuneScape 2 or RuneScape 3, but nobody called it RuneScape 2 or 3. It was just RuneScape. So if you're playing the classic one, you're probably logging in with the same account, but it is a new game for you that you've never played. Probably. Because it was the same world. Like it was the map with the layout was the same. Even like, a place where you would like find 3 coins, a lot of those things were the same.
Yeah. But
it was different. The graphics were way worse.
Nobody really cares about any jobs that I've ever had.
No one, what do you mean cares about? Like,
I just spent a little bit of time thinking about them, but then I realized like nobody cares.
Cares like what? Cares enough to talk about them? Cares about
enough to listen to it.
Why? Who else do you know that was a freaking national grid flagger and an ice cream server and a freaking sportscast announcer? And that's only three of the 15 things.
People do odd jobs, though.
Yeah. All right, fine. Just don't talk about it then.
Okay, I won't.
Dude, I don't know.
The concrete business was probably the weirdest one. I only worked there for a little bit. And I just, one day at work, I was like just so sick because I was exhausted because I had been up all night the night before being a security guard from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. Then I went right to work. Like, it took me a half hour to drove home, and I maybe got like a 20-minute nap before I went to do this like day of manual labor, pouring concrete.
Yeah.
And I like threw up during the day, and they just never scheduled me to come back. So what are you gonna do?
think you might have said a couple times on the show how as you get older, like, you know, if you miss some sleep, you're totally feeling it all day long.
Yeah.
And I think until about, well, honestly, and probably until I got married, most of the time when you've said that, I would have pushed back like, well, come on, you're totally fine. Like, so you missed 4 hours of sleep. Like, it's just get through the day. But lately, I've been feeling like if I'm up till like midnight, 1 o'clock, and I don't get to sleep in, it's like, I mean, I can make it through the day, no issues, whatever. But I've been feeling it more for sure.
Well, how long are you sleeping per night?
Average?
Yeah.
I would say something like 10 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
That's a lot.
I know.
Like, even for me, that's like, if I was just totally unmolested by the requirements of society, like work and waking up to go pick up people at the airport, which is the other thing I have to wake up for this week. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit the table. I would sleep probably like 13 or 14 hours a day. But I can't, and I don't get 10 hours of sleep per night. But if I get anything less than 8, I do not feel good the next day. And if it's like, man, something like, I would say anything less than 5, and like I just couldn't function. Like I would probably need to like go home from work halfway through the day. And I didn't used to be like that, but I used to get sick all the time. In my first year of college and during high school, I probably slept some hours, like 4 hours, and then I would 4 or 5 hours, and then I'd get up, I'd go to school, I'd be exhausted all day, but I'd do it, and I'd go have whatever sports practice I had, and I'd come home and do my homework, and I'd swear I'd go to bed, but then by that time it was 9 o'clock, and I hadn't done anything for myself yet, and I would want to just relax and watch some TV or something, and next thing you know, it's midnight, and by the time you brush your teeth and wash your face and then like get settled down from that and are actually falling asleep, it's 1, you know, because I just read in bed for a little bit, and then I've got to be up at 6. These days, if I tried to do, like, I don't know at what point my body just said no. If I tried to do that now, I would feel sick to my stomach all day. I would feel like I couldn't eat anything. I would have a headache. My eyes would be all achy. I would feel almost like fluish, like you're sweating, but you have the chills. Like,
I'm not there yet, but because I could still like,
because you're sleeping 10 hours a night.
Yeah, I could pull off. I guess I did pull off a red eye not terribly long ago, a couple months anyway. Like I can live with that and survive, but you know, super lately it's been Maybe I get too much sleep, really. Maybe I'm just used to getting way too much sleep. So then if I don't get... So then,
You've got some sleep hours built up in your system so you can afford a red eye?
Well, that... Maybe. I was going to say the other way around. Like, maybe because I get so much sleep, then if I get down to like 6 hours, then that feels like crap lately. But I don't know. It's
Yeah.
what do I freaking know about sleep?
No, so once I started going to, I don't know, it was my second or third college, depending on what you... So I went to a college, and then I went to a different campus of that same college. That's where I got my associate's degree. But once I started going for my bachelor's degree at a different school, that was when I really remember, like, okay, I wouldn't schedule myself any morning classes because I was no longer a freshman and I had a little bit more flexibility. So then I could be up until 2 or 3 and sleep until 11 or noon and go to my class at 1. And then I would have practice in the afternoon or something, and they let the student athletes, they gave them the privilege of working the other sporting events. So usually there's 3 or 4 of them per night. So, you would go and like keep the floor clean during basketball games, or I was the PA announcer, or someone would do the scoreboard, or someone would record it so the coach could have game film. During soccer games, you'd run up and down the sideline and like throw the ball back in and stuff, and they'd pay athletes for that. So I would have either a practice or a game, which would take up 2 or 3 hours. Classes in college were nothing. I mean, you only spent 2 or 3 hours maybe per day on average in the classroom.
Yeah.
And then, so I only had maybe like 6 hours of obligation per day, and I never studied. I barely did my homework in college. It was just a really easy school.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to do that. And so with only like 6 hours of responsibility, I didn't have to stay up until 3 a.m. to get all my video games played. I would just do that from, 8 to 11. And then no matter when I had to wake up the next day, I'd be getting my 8 hours.
Video games were not huge at my college. It was slightly tougher than your college, maybe. People played video games.
I would imagine.
But TV was just way easier, way more convenient to just pull up a TV show than to get all your friends together for this video game and be good at it if you could. So I binged my fair share of TV during college. I still watch plenty of shows, but in college, plenty of Scrubs, plenty of Community, I watched Fringe and a couple seasons of 24.
Did you ever watch Bones?
Nah.
You watch Fringe, but not Bones.
Right. What? They're not that similar, are they?
Well, they were on back to back, and it was like the same premise as they're like crime solvers. One was just supernatural.
Yeah, this was all Netflix or...
Oh, okay. I remember being in high school and actually watching them on Fox.
Yeah.
They would come on back to back.
The only shows I really ever watched on, like, live on network TV were, growing up, my parents loved NCIS, and I watched tons of that. And similar shows, CSI, Criminal Minds, stuff like that. Other than that... I liked America's Got Talent. I watched that.
American Idol, for me and my family, not once there were only good singers left, but the auditions, that was like, we're not missing that.
I never got into American Idol.
I never watched American Idol past the terrible auditions.
I did. It didn't last very long, but the other is that reality? What's the word? I was thinking of this the other day. What's the word for that kind of show? That's not reality TV, is it?
Reality TV is like Jersey Shore and Buck Wild and Big Brother.
It's not a game show quite either, though. There's got to be
talent show.
Sure, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, the only other one that I watched, which was short, was Last Comic Standing. That was a good one. I was pretty upset when Eliza Schlesinger won, but it was good.
I'm out of the photo right now, and I know it, and my microphone's all screwy, but my back is just... I'm going to have to lean in a little bit here.
That's not too bad.
Oh.
You can see up your nose and everything.
Hang on.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I don't know if you guys could hear that first one. They would be able to pick that up, right?
Maybe a little, because I'll run a compressor, which will amplify the quiet things. Yeah, so they might pick it up. Hey, we don't have time for this today, but one conversation that might be fairly entertaining for random people to listen to is talking about my squeamishness and my stories about...
Oh, why don't you have time for it?
Oh, we're already 41 minutes in, and it takes me 3 hours to tell all my squeamish stories.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. We can pert near wrap it up. We just had a very subtle episode. You know what I mean? We're not in your face. We're not yelling at you this week. I didn't have any problems with the Postal Service. We're just having... This is like a fireside chat episode. We're just reintroducing the characters. Next time... we can, maybe if we hit on the squeamishness, then I can tell my ghost stories from when I worked at the spiritualist community. I've got 4 things that prevent me from saying I can definitively say ghosts are not real.
Those are some good stories. I've heard some of them, maybe all of them. I did not know, maybe you didn't tell me or I just forgot, that this one story... I sort of remember that you were a security guard. I did not realize it was also this kind of community.
Yeah, it was a spiritualist community. I mean, so what that means is it's a
community that's like spiritualist.
Yeah, but it's basically just a haven for religion that believes that no souls ever really leave Earth. I'm pretty sure...
Is that spiritualism in general, or is that this community?
I'm assuming that's what spiritualism in general... Anyways, this spiritualist community...
You protected their property and you didn't even ask them what they believe?
No, I didn't care. I was...
What if you were keeping the demons in?
Hopefully I was. So they didn't get out to the general population. Right outside the gates, from where I sat, I could look over this bridge... this unlit bridge, and see a spot on the shore of the lake that it was situated on. And right there used to be this place, and it was called the something hotel. And
wait, are you saying something as in you forget what it was called, or something?
Yeah, I forget what it was called.
All right, I thought it was literally called the something hotel.
Yeah, I forgot what it was called. But when Harry Houdini, when he was alive, he promised that after he died, sometime in the future, he would come back, and it would be at that hotel, right across from the spiritualist community. And between the time that Houdini died, before he ever came back, it just burnt to the ground in a massive fire. So you can see where it was, but no remains of it. But inside this community, what they do is people will come in. We had a lot of people come down from Canada. It's probably an hour and a...
To visit, or to live there?
To visit.
All right.
Maybe an hour to get to the border. That doesn't include to customs and everything. But if you just wanted to drive to a spot where it's you're about to be Canada, it would probably take an hour to get there. I mean, there are lines and stuff to get over, but if you went on a big enough hill, you could look over Lake Erie and see parts of Canada. The house I grew up, we could see. We could just look across Lake Erie, and there was Canada there. But a lot of people from Canada would come down, and it would be palm readings or tea leaves or tarot cards or just speaking, I guess, just like straight up, hey, I don't even need any cards. I'm just going to talk to your dead grandma. But these mediums inside would supposedly talk with dead relatives or dead people that people wanted to hear. But it's really a shame. Maybe there's some spiritualists out there who would like to prove me wrong, but it is so predatory because they charge you to get in. Then they charge you for a reading, and every single reading ends with a cliffhanger. So like they'll just capitalize, a lot of it will be somebody who's like really grieving and just wants like one final communication with maybe someone who died too young or unexpectedly, or they just really weren't ready to live their life without their mom or something. And the mediums, it always ends with some reason why they have to come back next time. Like mom has something more to tell you, something like that. And as a matter of fact, when all these ghost stories were happening, I didn't really know. Honestly, I probably didn't even know as much as I do now about like the tarot cards and the readings when I first signed up. Once I started to like figure it out and everything, I got so freaked out by these ghost stories I'm going to tell you next time that I actually called my supervisor and said that like I'm in this shack and it's 3 a.m. and I'm just like losing my mind. I don't know what's going on. This stuff is so creepy. I got to go home. This is what I told him. I was like so scared. If you thought you were in the middle of ghosts too, you would know what I was feeling. And like one of the biggest attractions of Lilydale is supposedly this cat. Like this cat that just walks around and talks to everyone, but it doesn't like speak, but like it interacts with people. And this cat only approaches people who have never been there or heard the legend of this cat before. And this cat doesn't exist. It like died. Like that's like one of the drawing aspects of Lilydale. And I call my supervisor on the phone and he's just like, none of that stuff is real. Like ghosts aren't real. The supernatural isn't real. And I'm like, your entire business, like not even just their business, like this is people live there year round and are mediums. Like mediums move in and they have their houses there. People pay to get into their neighborhood and then pay to listen to their hogwash about their dead relatives. And my boss is telling me that it's all fake because it's going to keep me in the booth for another 3 hours.
There you go. There is someone out there. You know how like when you watch, like I was just saying, I watched everything on Netflix. You get to skip all the cliffhangers because you just watched 14 episodes in a row. So there's like 3.5 people out there who are, like 10 months from now, who are listening to this, and they're like, "Oh yeah, next one, come on, let's go." Yeah. So you're welcome, guys, for the magic of the internet, I guess, that makes that possible. That's hey, before it's your show, so cut me off if you got to cut me off. But I never finished about Zelda real quick.
Go ahead. We got plenty of time.
They also magic of the internet. Podcast could go for 14 hours if we want.
The audience doesn't want that.
I never finished explaining. I think we started talking about RuneScape or something. I do love RPGs a lot.
At one point, didn't I ask you to continue about Zelda and you just didn't?
No, I did. We talked about Zelda and then we got sidetracked and then you said continue about Zelda. So I started saying it's an RPG, which I really like, but I started on shooters mostly. And
then you said RuneScape and I said I tried to log in.
And then the rest is history. It's recorded so we can check if we need to.
Yeah. Yeah, I logged in on RuneScape lately.
But
recently.
The place I was going with that was just to say I do love RPGs a ton. That's probably in terms of in terms of artisticness, it's almost definitely my favorite genre. Like shooters, I could care less about the story or the artwork or whatever. Like arcade games, I don't care about anything. RPGs I like I definitely just love the genre, the style, the feel, the vibe. So that's probably my favorite without question. Mm-hmm. But still, I was trying to just figure out why I never got into Zelda. And I think it's because I did try. I played actually on a smartphone with a Wii controller. I played, what is it, Oculus of Time?
Ocarina.
I tried to play that. And I mean, I probably dumped 20 hours, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 hours into it. But I just like kind of stalled. Like I couldn't figure out where to go, what to do, why I should be doing anything.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much my whole Zelda experience. And I never...
Yeah, I tried to... I have that on N64 and I have it on 3DS, and I started both of them and beat neither of them. Just Zelda's not for me. I mean, I like clear objectives and stuff. You see The Witcher up there. I may have gotten to like level 4 in The Witcher. If that game even has levels, I can't even remember.
The other thing
it does.
I've complained to you about this. Probably not.
Games are too complicated.
Yeah. Did we cover that on the show?
Kind of. I mean, you had me and Brian do it one time when you were saying that you couldn't make substitutions in FIFA without getting overwhelmed.
Yeah, but then I was thinking about RPGs just now, and it's like there are some that are just holy cow. Like there are so many skills and levels, and then every level has its own perks, and like if you really want to get all the perks and like actually be the best, that's like 2,000 hours of gameplay.
Yeah.
But if you're going to play casually, then it's like you can pick one of these 3 skill trees. But it's like, well, what if I want this skill and this skill, but you can never do that unless you dump way too much time into it. They're getting complicated too. I like Skyrim a decent. It was pretty complicated, but I still loved it.
You played Skyrim?
Yeah. What?
And you're saying Zelda's too complicated?
No, well, I never said Zelda was complicated. I said
you think that FIFA substitutions are too complicated?
Yes.
And you played Skyrim.
What is complicated about Skyrim?
I don't know. I've never played it. It just seems like so open-ended, and like you have to craft
the world is
and
big. Yeah, crafting. Exactly. That's what I was saying. Like, I was gonna say it is complicated, but yeah, there's some crafting. There's some
even like the crafting in Red Dead is too complicated for me. Like, I don't want to have to worry about. I need these specific things to be able to craft something, but I have a limited inventory.
Yeah,
I could handle it if I had an unlimited inventory, and it was just whenever I needed to make something, it would look through every item I've ever acquired.
That might have been more like Skyrim, because I could pretty much just ignore it. Like, if I found an herb in a dungeon, I could just hold it, and if I ever needed it, I had it. I mean, I think there was like a weight factor, like you were carrying so much weight, and it might affect you a little bit, but I don't remember ever having any big issues with just like, I have no idea what this herb is, I'm just going to keep it.
Yeah, we need a poster for right here, but we'll worry about that next time. Hopefully, I mean, maybe I'll be sweaty and red and coughing next time too. But
what? Oh, you need a poster? I'm confused.
I was going to say we'll put a poster right here.
Yeah, fill in the space. Hey, last thing I'm going to say about video games and Skyrim, just to wrap that up. The world is big, and that was a little complicated too.
Are you talking about video games or just like Earth in general?
I was talking about Skyrim's world.
Oh, okay. I thought you were getting like philosophical.
The only thing that finally got me to just almost hate, I don't super hate it, but I kind of hate Skyrim now, was because it just bugged up. Like, multiple times. Like, it was like I was in the middle of a mission, but I got arrested when I wasn't really supposed to get arrested. So then I was like no longer able to enter this city, but I had to enter the city to finish the mission, something like that. And so then I had to like back up and start over, and something similar happened. I was like in the middle of a mission and I had to talk to this guy, but I couldn't talk to this guy for other reasons. Then I'm finally like, well, this is so dumb.
Yeah, I mean obviously that can be a challenge in programming, is trying to get people to do certain things in a set order.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I like tried again like months later, and I was just like stuck in this dungeon that I wasn't high enough skill to get through, but I also couldn't get out of it because I wasn't high enough
You
skill.
didn't have an escape rope?
I guess not.
That's from Pokemon. I guess you didn't.
No, I've never played Pokemon. Except for like a little bit of Pokemon Go for a few weeks. But yeah, I couldn't get out of the dungeon because these monsters just kept killing me, so I gave up.
Yeah, what are you gonna do, dude? I mean, you don't have to tell me Skyrim is not for me. Skyrim is not for me. I don't know what else you want.
There you have it, folks.
So unless you have anything else, I guess we'll see you next time.
Yeah, I'm good. It's your show.